Alright guys, welcome back to another recap. If you guys are new to these recaps, I do these every single day. I also stream live every single day, so if you guys want to trade live with me and my team and I, over 100 people, completely free right here on YouTube every single morning, and tradecaster.com. Cancel the payment. I don't charge for anything. You guys can see my trades, where I buy, where I sell, my P&L at the moment, and my thoughts on future plays or anything like that. Today I'm locking in, a relatively small day, but from what I've seen the last week or two in my trading, I'm glad with today. I've been trading, and I usually trade the small caps. This is for everybody new. I usually trade the small caps. I usually trade momentum and breakouts and high of days and anything like that. Which, obviously, if you're watching this video, you trade, and you would probably know that small caps have not been working at all. And, I woke up this morning a little bit early again, took an eye on a few large caps to just plan out some trades, and then that small caps were absolutely dead. There was nothing in my radar to keep an eye on. SMMT was the only one, and volume was iffy on it, so I didn't really like the long on that play anyways. But there was a couple plays, again, just like yesterday, pre-market area. I'm calling out Amazon. I liked Amazon. And then Meta. I liked Meta today, coming into today. Meta, again, yesterday I was pretty bullish on it until 125. Hit exactly 125, turned back. Today I was bearish on Meta, and I'll go over those plays as well. And then Amazon. I knew Amazon had a little bit of a gap fill underneath. I thought I could get that move, and actually literally played out exactly like I wanted it to. And I traded it pretty good. I could have played it a little bit bigger size. I got stopped out on the first time, and then the second time I followed it for that exact same trade. I played it with smaller share size, and I ended up selling a little bit too early. But anyways, let me go over those. Also, my shorting account, 4th, 5th day or something like that, trading on my shorting account. And about my 6th, maybe 5th, 6th, 7th trade on my shorting account, and another green day over there. So I'm really happy how that account's going. I'm playing it small, so the profits are not big. But my reads are good, my trades are good, my executions are good, and haven't really caught a very nice fader. I did want to short XBEV today, and would have been probably a bigger gainer. Could have gone almost $1 a share on that one, but it's okay. I'm not going to explain that one too, so you guys kind of know my thought process. Anyway, so today, let me go over Amazon. So going into this morning, Amazon, first of all, yeah, you got low of market day. Low of pre-market, low of yesterday, high day right there at $90.82, which is kind of what I was looking at. But on the daily, we had that big push up and then kind of sold it off 2 days, 3 days yesterday. Aggressive selling all across the market. Today, again, I didn't think the market was going to sell off like it did today. But Amazon, I thought we could at least have a bigger bit of a sell-off further down into this gap fill. So if you got, let me just move my camera out the way. So let me move my camera out the way so you guys can see my daily chart bottom left. Had a little bit of a gap fill right here from 89.50 up to 90.50 about ish. So kind of right there. And with pre-market being right here and low market right there, I had a feeling that if we start rejecting this 90.82 level, low of pre-market, low of yesterday, we could end up pulling on down, create a nice little bit of bear flag here, and take that for a short trade down on to close the gap. So from 90.50 all the way down to 89.50. Let me delete this box here and switch back to a 1 minute time frame so you can actually see my entries and exits, because I took a small winner the first time. So here it is. Why did my fills disappear now? Okay, so the very first time popped up to 90.82. I shorted it right there, 90.82, defending that level. I ended up, let me see, I added into it, so I was in now with 500 shares, looking for that weakness, looking for this trend line here, tiny trend line here to crack. And once it cracked it there and then started recovering, I was like, oh, I don't like this. So I stopped out of that trade, ended up reversing. My mistake here was, for one, I could have let this trade run and still have my stop somewhere up here. Or two, I could have come back and then added at that 90.82 level again up here. So 90.82 level, could have played that level there, shorted again, caught the next move down. So I missed those two. So I missed being patient on the first trade, and I missed the second add. But once I did see that rejection of 90.82 again, the second time, double top, I know I wanted that level. It's a double top. rejection, I added back in, and I added 100, I added 300. This was kind of me chasing. I thought I could get a little bit of a pullback here back on up, which is why I ended up taking those for a small profit. And then I was looking for that push back up to just kind of last attempt VWAP, last attempt 90-50, you know. And then I added, and this was my mistake, I added only 200. You know, I have all the information I needed to have a pretty high conviction on this trade. Double top 980, kind of a bear flag pattern holding here, market is selling off, and then just looked very weak. You know, this looked weak, but then reclaimed it, looked weak again, and now it really returned. So I should have played this right here back to, you know, 500 ads or 400, and it was the smallest ad I had. So I shorted 200 shares there, which was still great. I shorted at 90.46, and I ended up selling 100, so half, probably a little too much. Right as we created a new low of day, sold 100, and then it pulled on down, sold another quarter of my initial position, sold 50. And then here I kind of was looking at this, and I thought if this popped up again here and started looking weak, I will re-add to this play to catch the full gap down from that 90.50 to 89.50. So this is a gap down that I wanted to fill, right? This thing pushes up, closed very high, was kind of looking for a nice boost pop here to short again, didn't do it, pulled back around, and so this ended up going without me the second time. It flagged right under the low of day, so I could have added there, but I didn't add. I held my initial position, so I held it on lower, and then as soon as I was closing that gap fill, I ended up getting fully out down there at 89.50, so the gap was filled, my trade was done. I should have held a little bit longer here, you know, maybe taking half around here, maybe taking half at my target, and then kept these runners for the move past it. But you know, hindsight 2020. But just kind of me trying to teach myself and correct myself to be a little bit more patient, because a lot of these trades, you know, scalping, I was in and out in 30 seconds. These trades, I held it from 8:49 all the way down to 8:57, almost about a 10-minute trade. And I like those a lot better. Anyway, so that was my trade here. My trade on Meta that I didn't take was this 121 level. I was really eyeballing this 121.18, kind of low of day for the last 2 days, kind of held the stock up. I really wanted this thing to kind of open up here and kind of do the same thing Amazon did, lose that 121, retest it, and then fail. But this actually ended up happening pre-market. And so that 121 level failed. Tried to get it back above 121, couldn't do it, and then ended up failing. And I think this one was just too heavy out of the gates for me to chase to the bottom side. If I would have gotten a nice pop again to 121, I definitely would have added short. But this thing ended up dropping, and dropped pretty hard. I almost thought about buying. I don't know where I had this line from, but I almost thought about buying there, but good thing I didn't. My other winning trade was Tesla. Tesla, I didn't really have a plan coming into today. But I had this low of day from yesterday at 180.72, and as soon as Tesla opened up this morning, again, kind of like Amazon rejected pre-market high, so it rejected pre-market high there, and this one ended up pulling down pretty aggressively. And this one I chased it for a low of day, chased it at this 180.72. There, got a very nice push on down, took my profit right away. I should have hung in here a little bit longer, added back at that retest there of that key level, and then I had another key level here at 178.82 off the daily chart down here. So if you guys look down here, 178.82 was these two spikes right there. So I should have known that that's going to be a good level to either bounce or flush through, reject, flag, retest, take the trade, and that should have added short on this one here. Again, 178 down to 175, $3 move there, missed that one. I kind of messed around here. I was trying to look for other trades, but ended up not taking any. I came back to that 178 level here, so that's that same double bottom on the daily. I almost took some longs here. I called it out on stream actually right there. Almost took a long there, missed it. Then at this point I didn't like it the second time, but you know, it's small little scalp, very small risk, more maybe double 2 hour reward there. Didn't take it, didn't feel that great on that one. SPY, this one I took after stream, so I don't have 100% win rate, But this, I am a little bit upset. I mean, it was a tiny scalp. I was already green on the day, didn't want to risk a lot of profit. But, you know, kind of looking for this thing to keep on selling off. Had a pretty nice bottom there. As soon as we ended up cracking, as soon as it popped back up, I started scaling into the straight here, short, short. My problem was I absolutely got ticked on the stop out. So if this candle right there, if you look at the price, that is 394.70, 71, and I got stopped out at 394.70, 69.5. I had to stop right over this candle, I think. And so this thing came up, stopped me out. My stop was a little too tight, and then sold off. Now on this one, my target was this 393 level down here that I had. That is the only reason why I took that trade. I was like, this thing could sell off a little bit more. I could see this thing selling off a tiny bit more. That 393 is also a daily level down here on SPY. Double bottom there. So I thought, you know, with the selling pressure, if it wants to bounce anywhere, it's going to be bouncing at 393. So I'm going to let this thing right on down to there, take my profit, and maybe switch long, which actually this is not setting up bad. You know, you got a low, you got a lower low, and then you're possibly going to make a higher low. So if you guys are still trading, maybe look at this level here, 393, maybe take a long somewhere in here to see if SPY gets a little bit of a bounce relief trade there. That was it as far as my Thinkorswim account. So I am green on my Thinkorswim account, and then I did take some shorts on RMED. So let me go over RMED here, and then I'll show you guys the actual trade execution on my other account. So RMED had a pretty strong move this morning. I knew this one on the daily was pretty strong. I knew this one had an inside bar play that could have been working out, and so I let it do its thing. You know, it went from $3 up to 5.3. At one point, it was up 40% today. So I thought this thing could end up pulling back. And if you look at the daily on this thing, we are kind of having a little bit of a move where we're holding our gain right here. So we're holding the daily chart. It's looking strong. But once I look back at the previous days on RMED, there is these 2 days where it spiked, sold it off, sold it off. There's this day where it spiked, sold it off completely and more. Like these things spiked and then sold it all off and closed about as low as possible. There's this spike here where it spiked, pretty big gap, sold it all off. There is this spike right here, spiked, sold it 75% of the way out, and then this one, I guess this candle still opened low, pushed up, and then sold it all off again because it closed red. So I looked at that and I was like, you know what? I think RMED, if I try to catch the top on RMED, if I nail the top on RMED, I might get this thing to fully fade down on me. Yeah, the daily is a little bit stronger this time, so I have tight stops, but there's a chance that this thing can end up giving it all back. So my first ad, if I looked at the 5-minute, this thing was straight up going up. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles, 8 green candles, sorry, in a row. And at that point, I ended up taking my first ads here short into that $5 mark, kind of anticipating that $5 to be resistance. I ended up covering those pretty good right there. Got the move through 5, and if you look on the, obviously it's an inside bar play, so this one had a previous high of 5.11 and a resistance at 5. So I knew we could end up blowing off those those shorts there, which we ended up doing here, and I ended up playing it again kind of, let me see, I think I played it short there, and then this one I had a pretty bad cover. I covered almost right away, like maybe a 10, 15, 20 cent scalp. And then my last bigger trade on this one was on the last push up here, I ended up shorting 5.30, so pretty close to the top up there. I didn't think this one had much more room in it. It was looking exhausted. If you see the move, nice move consolidation, nice move consolidation, nice move consolidation, longer consolidation, weaker move, barely breaks a high, pulls back. You know, at that point I was like, I think I like this first short better. So I ended up taking a short there. I had a cover down at 5. So pretty good move there, almost 30 cents of profit, exactly 30 cents of profit. And then I put my stop, I think at this point it was down here, and like, you know, it's bouncing lower. I saw this trend line, really was looking for this thing to crack and fade. I wanted to catch one stock shorting that I'd get to literally walk away from my computer, come back at 3 p.m. at 2:59 p.m. before market closes, and then see that this thing faded all day and lock in a pretty decent move down. But I put my stop. I think I had it over. So I had it over 520 at one point. Then I moved it down to like 516, right over 515 level. And then as soon as it started holding this whole thing right here, I was like, it's either going to break down or this thing is going to hold this trend line and then perk itself back over 5. So I had my stop like 505, I think. I was like, maybe it hits 5, maybe it hits 501, 502, tries to spook people out of 5. More short sellers come in, sell it all off. So I had it right over 5. And so my last shares I got stopped at like right there. And if you guys want to see the chart, here it is with my actual execution. So there's that first pop right there. Ended up selling off, got that nice trade, stopped out a little bit under break even for those remaining ones. Took the add up here, short there. This was a weak scalp, you know, decent trade. Could have covered a little bit lower, but here to me it started looking like a long, so I ended up getting out. And then short at that very top there, top ticked it, covered at 5, maybe a little too early. Should have covered more down into this flush there. Didn't. Then I noticed those higher highs. Maybe should have taken more off the table and have less stop here. But at this point, I was really like, you know what? I don't want to look at RMED. I want to have my stop in place. I want to not look at this chart and come back later today and see if it's going to be lower. Which I'm glad I had my stop because this stock, you know, I mentioned the daily looks strong. Make sure the daily looks bullish, and so it actually came back up, hit a new high on the day. But no more shorts for me there. And that's about it. Stocks that I completely avoided today, SMMT. This stock seemed really manipulated, really controlled, really tricky, trappy, wicky, you know, all that stuff. It reminded me of SHPH. I even said it on stream. This thing reminds me of SHPH the first day where, you know, every time it flushed, it recovered. It flushed, it recovered. Flushed, it recovered. Flushed, it recovered. Big false breakout, it recovered. Big flush, it recovered. Big flush, it recovered. Big flush. You know, you get what I'm saying. Look, look. And then still came up and still popped a new high the next day. You know, it just would. It was just recovering. And so when I saw SMTM this morning, something looked a little too familiar. Flush, held. Flush, held. Boom, squeeze. Fade after that big old flush. And then it recovers, and then again big old rejections here off of 150. That's short sellers coming in here, rejection, 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 and it still held sideways, and then had this ascending triangle there, broke out of it, pretty nice flush, held it, retraced it, pretty nice fade, held it, squeeze, you know, and it just kept popping right up, right back up. So I avoided it on the long side. I avoided it on the short side. I did a good job avoiding that stock there. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, guys. The next game should be going on right now. Portugal, Switzerland, I believe. So I'm going to be watching that for a little bit. But if you guys like this recaps, please hit the thumbs up for me. Leave a comment down below whether you made money, lost money, what did you trade. Any feedback at all on these recaps, anything at all you guys need or have questions, let me know. My Discord is down below. I do offer a course if you guys are a complete beginner and do want to learn how to trade. You can always shoot me DMs, see if the course is for you or not. I'm not a scammer. You know, I trade completely live. I don't want to sell you a course if you're not that interested, or maybe it's not for you. Day trading is not for you. But other than that, guys, you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.